Hi, welcome to Foreigner in the Philippines. It's just after 9, so I guess you would call this a late night meandering. And I did start on another video where I was talking about living a life of joy and when you've got it made, how do you know that you've got it made? And I only got to the first question, so I thought that I would title this, I have a job to die for, but not just yet, okay? So I guess one of the main criteria for deciding if you've got a job to die for is, would you do it for nothing? And I touched on this in the last video where I said pilots are people who would do their job for nothing, but I would do my job for nothing. In fact, for a little while there I did my job for nothing because when we first started Beth and I actually after we'd put up a few videos and everything, and then we looked on it and it said about what we'd earned, and I think it was 17 pesos. So we were doing it for nothing back then, but that was before we started to help people. So here's one of the questions that I think you should be able to answer if you've got a job to die for, and we'll get to the idea of how could you get a job to die for and what does it take. But here's a question. At the end of the day, when you get home completely exhausted and tired out, I did it today, is there one thing that you could leave undone? So you look at all of the things that you've done. Is there one thing that you could leave undone? And I'm looking at my job today, and there just isn't one thing that I would leave undone. We went in this morning. We had to get up early because we had to get diesel for the grader, because if the grader doesn't have any diesel, obviously it's not going to go anywhere. Now, I guess the driver decided that he couldn't get in today, so the grader was idle, which is a shame. But because we were looking forward to the last stretch of the road being done today. Well, we went in and we bought 10 of those 5-gallon 20 litre, what is it? They're 20 litre apparently, 20 litre cans for carrying gas, and we bought 10, which was quite a hit. And as the man is filling up with diesel, Beth suddenly said, "No, we don't need this many." I said, "We've got 10 of those but ugly containers, and you're telling me that we only need 5? So we fill up, and then we go to the grader, and the grader is still where it was parked, where it's parked overnight. So the guy hasn't turned up, and it is way past the time that he should. So we unload, and then we turn around and we go into town. And we go into town and we have to pick up some money at Western Union or something like that. Cebuana or MoneyGram or Western Union is how we usually get money, and we go and make a withdrawal, and then we bump into our friends lovely May and Maricel, and then it's all fun because we go in and we have lunch with them, and it's just like laughing from one bite of food to the other. And after that, so we certainly would not have given up any of those. And after that, we went to the engineer who has to okay another 15 hours of the grader, and so we pay for that another 15 hours, and then we leave, and then we have to get home. Now, just lately I've been saying I would just like to get home before it gets dark. I would just like to how about we get home now? Well, we don't get home now because we have to go and do a video of house 31, which is quite a hectic 4x4 drive up into the mountains. So we did that, and we saw the joy on the people's faces of that house, which the Superman team have made such a beautiful job of. And they've just put in the electrics, which we put in. We gave Timio 2,000 pesos, and he bought the materials and put the electric lights and a few sockets in for them. But it's a beautiful house. Look at the video. It's a lovely house. Simple, traditional, built on a hill, overlooking Wonder. So we certainly wouldn't have left that out. So then we get back, and on the way back we get the order from Nanai that we've got to pick up fish, and we pick up fish. But the last thing really that we did, which is one of those things where the job that Beth and I do cannot be bought and sold. It can't be handed over to someone else. It's what we do. Not saying that others aren't doing a much better job of it, by the way, but it's what we do in our community. And Beth said, we have to go and see baby Faith. Now the good news about baby Faith is that she is going into hospital on the 28th, and the last time that she went into hospital she was there for 3 days, and then to avoid infection, or the possibility of infection, she was discharged and sent home. Well, if you've looked at the videos of that, you'll see that there's a seating area that they have that little girl laid out on that table, and she has her cushions and pillows and everything. And actually that little girl is adored and loved and absolutely doted upon. It's a very large extended family, from little girls to adult ladies, to mothers, to fathers, grandfathers, the whole thing. And we went there, and we talked to the mother, and the mother told us what had happened, and she showed us the papers, all of which is on the video. But what you can't quite catch on the video is the impact on, certainly on Beth and I. Now Beth, I call her a coward because she's behind the camera, and she can feel or express or lose control if she wants to, and nothing is ever seen. But for me, it's a huge challenge in controlling how I feel, because when you see a little girl that's only, I think, 3 months old, and she's lying on that table, and she is fighting for her life. There's no question about this. That little girl is fighting for her life. She has that thing coming out of her back that is as big as a fist, and it has to come out. And I'm looking at the mother. The mother only looks about, she only looks about 18 or 19 to me, and she has almost film star looks. She is absolutely beautiful young woman, and she's got this tiny baby, and she's told us that she needs to check into the hospital on the 28th. So straight away I say to Beth, we're taking them in, because we can take them in the big blue truck, and if we take it easy, we can make it so that baby Faith is comfortable on the way. So I get this over to them. I said, yes, okay. And then I say, it can only be 2 people. It can't. I'm looking around at all of these people. It can't be a lot of people. So it can only be 2. The mother and I'm guessing the grandmother is going to come. Always when people go into hospital in the Philippines, they have to be accompanied. They have to be accompanied and cared for by their own caregivers in the hospital. Well, obviously, they wouldn't be leaving this little girl on her own anyway. But we're almost ready to go, and we've done our little sign-off of don't forget to like and all of that. And I'm stood next to the mother. Now, I've already said to Beth, now I don't know whether it was that nobody wanted to look at this, but I asked the question, what are the risks? Is there a risk? I don't want to spell it out. I'm not going to say, is the baby going to die? But I say, what are the risks? And it took a while. If you watch that video, it took a while to get that question answered. It kind of went all around the houses like this, you know. Yes, well, they've got to do this, and then the tests are coming through. I said, no, I'm not asking about the tests. What are the risks for the operation for baby Faith? And then I admitted, yes, there is a risk. And I looked at this young woman and I said, are you prepared? Are you prepared? And if you watch the video, when I say that, she looks down. And it's really obvious that no one could ever prepare you for that. But then finally she nods and says yes. But she says that not to me, but to Beth and to everybody else. And everybody was very quiet then. And I had trouble getting it out, but I said, you can all help by praying. And that really does work. If you get a group of people and they gather together and they pray to whatever they see as their God, their Saviour, be it that they sit and contemplate their navel and say Om, be it that they talk to Jesus, their personal Saviour, be it they talk to the Lord. Whoever they ask for help to, that wish is united in as one. And I was a little bit surprised that they all said yes, but because I just couldn't say it. I couldn't say, you can all pray. I said, you can all. And then they did that. So, what's so great about a job like that? Well, it will help that family to see it through only by being there. And it will be, when Beth and I left, I said, you know, this is going to be very hard. And she said, yes, I know. So, I guess in a way, I should be saying to everyone who is watching this, that if you're sitting there watching this with empty pockets, that's fine. Just offer your prayers. And that will be a big help. We are going in on a leap of faith with this. We don't have the money. But Beth and I will sign a note that says that we will be responsible Now, gets me back to the first story. I never have any doubt that help will come. Never. This is a foreigner in the Philippines. Think about baby faith and do your best. Whatever that best is.